What was the most amount of money you generate through ads in one day?
That was close to $500,000 in sales one day.
Wow, that's crazy. How does it feel like when you walk out in a office day after such a successful day?
It feels great because I think the role of the ads manager is more like an investment manager, sort of. You have money, you invest in ads, and it pays you the best returns. Or even to shape it better, also to give you like also some context on how I like it and why I actually like it. If you put, let's say, €1 million in the bank, how much interest are you getting per year? Like 2%, 3%?
Yeah.
Okay. On ads, or like when we implement ads for businesses, this is the only place you can multiply it. So it's not you put €1 or like get 2 back. You can do like 4x, 5x, 6x, and it depends for sure on the niche of the business and so on and so forth. So it is a very good investment. That's the way I see it. If you put money in the bank, it's going to give you 2-3%. We give you 1 or 2 or 3x more just with the power of ads. So it's insane not to do it if you have a business and you want to scale.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that not many people think like this, right? Also, like a lot of marketing agencies, they would more say like, yeah, but we cannot guarantee you success. Is there something that you kind of secretly do to your clients?
You can never guarantee anyone's success, okay? Because like, let's say I'm a fitness coach and you want to like work out with me. I cannot say like you'll have the perfect body and abs and like shoulders and all of the muscle shape you want, because it also depends on you as a business, and it depends on other factors also when it comes to ads. It depends on the audience, it depends on the psychology behind the ads and how people see it. It depends on your website and how you can convert people and so on and so forth. So sometimes people think that we are magicians who graduated from Hogwarts with a magic wand. Once we start working together, I will do the magic with ads. I will make you sell like crazy. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like this. It's a lot of more concepts also to consider. And because of the amount of advertisers on the platforms, it's even harder to actually convert people now. So many people are bidding for the same audience you want to convert. So the competition is way hard.
What's one belief that you have about advertisement that you think most people would disagree with?
It's not easy. Because also like sometimes you get in calls with clients and then they're like, yeah, but you're just pressing some buttons. You're just gonna make my picture or video live to people. And then I'm like, no, it's way more complicated. It doesn't go like this. And again, as we were saying, it depends on so many other factors. So if you just consider that you created a picture or an image and that's all, the wizard will do their job. No, it's completely different.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I think many people, I think also like in this market, like right now, there's so many like cowboys out there as well. How do you look at them with the, all the coaches that tell you like, oh, I can scale your business, I can do this, I can do X? Because if I look at your like website and or more kind of like your content and everything, like you never promise anything in that way. You say like, hey, this is what we've achieved with other clients, but you never say like this overnight success is also something I can do for your brand.
100%. So the way to work with it is, or like the way I see it is, we test and then we iterate and then we test again and then we scale. A lot of businesses also have this issue that if something works from the first try, they start scaling aggressively and then it doesn't work and then they lose a lot of money. This is not the best way to do it. With all the coaches and all the guys that will scale your agency, will scale your business and all of that, if they have a way, that's perfect. But if they don't know what they're doing, they will cost you a lot of money and effort and time. And like, yeah, they will actually cost you like losses, not profits at all. And this is why it's very wise to test and then iterate based on data and then retest again to make sure that this thing is working and then start to scale. But if you like test and then scale straight away, you don't know if this thing you're scaling is actually able to be scaled or not. So you need to test it if it works, and then you need to test it for the scalability factor of it. And if it's scalable, yes, you'll see the good metrics and then you can scale.
I think with your experience, you also say yourself that you're like really like a specialist in brands that hit growth ceilings to kind of like unlock the growth ceilings for the brands.
Yeah.
Why do brands hit growth ceilings in the first place?
Sometimes they run very traditional ways on ads. So yes, you might be a business, you're running for a while, you sold very good like through like organic channels, and then you want to expand on ads. You got someone, you worked with ads, and then you reach that growth ceiling. So my role here is to see what we can do to expand over that growth ceiling. So the sky is not the limit anymore, the sky is the playground. And then we try to take the business from that level of like we cannot go further to actually go further. To give you an example, I used to work with a business there in the B2C SaaS niche, and then they were doing good for a while. 2024 compared to 2023, we did like 524% growth year over year, just because we went very untraditional, very like off the books, very like off niche and all of that. Another example, the same business for another market, we did 324% growth year over year. Why can we do this? Because we go very untraditional. If your competitors are bidding for the same clients that you basically are bidding for, everyone is fighting for the same people. And it's very hard to close people here. But when we try to go way far, we go off competition. So it's way easier to close, way also more profitable for the business. And then everyone is happy, we are happy, the client is happy, and yeah.
I can imagine that different kind of revenue per month have different kind of growth ceilings, right?
Yeah.
So what is like, for example, a typical growth ceiling someone hits when they do, for example, like 10K per month versus 500K or $1 million per month?
That's a great question. So the first growth ceiling people have, they are selling great organically and they want to go further. They can push more. So now it's time to start the ads machine for them and structure it and do the testing and iterating and then scaling. Another type of business, they already did that. So they were selling good organically. Then they wanted to expand on ads. So they got someone on ads and then they got stuck. When you get stuck spending or like making 500, like 1,000 or like $1 million a month, it's way harder to break that ceiling because you already tested so much. You spend so much on that ads machine. So the game now is way harder. And for sure, when you are a business that spent like to that particular like extent, it's way hard that, or like it's almost impossible that you didn't test X, Y, Z, A, B, C, the whole alphabet of things. So when it's a small to medium business, usually they have a lot of tricks that they didn't try. And then you as an expert or the wizard, you come like, you start implementing these things work really good. They're happy and the growth is way more. But when it's a very high like level spending business, very high like in revenue business, it's way harder to also achieve that.
So you say basically the bigger you get, like the more creative you have to get also in terms of reaching like new customers.
100%.
I mean, you talk a lot to founders probably, and they say multiple times probably like, oh, the ad stopped working. What's like the first kind of like misdiagnose a lot of founders are making when they say that?
They keep on using the same creative 24/7, man. So if I see the same ad so many times, I'll just get bored of it. It will reach something called a creative fatigue. And here, people need to see you different times to like get familiar with you and then start to trust you and then buy something from you. So if you use the same creative, you will not go anywhere. It will be good for a certain amount of time and then it's gonna drop in performance.
If we get like super practical, a brand comes to you and says like, okay, my ad stopped working. Like what would be kind of like the first step, like the first thing you would look at?
The first thing I would look at are the creatives, for how long they have been launched, how much money did they spend on them, how is the business profitability doing when it comes to these metrics. And then I would start to see the winning concepts that they already ran before, and I would start to make them a different way, as if we have the same man just wearing a different clothes. So it's going to be completely different like to the audience. This would be the first thing. And then I would start to take the winners that they ran previously already, and I would launch them to different audience groups to also see what we can do with these winners. Because if they won one time, they have a higher probability of winning a second and the third time. So let's do this. And then after that, if this and that is working, now it's time to scale them. So now we can spend, instead of X, we can spend 2X and 3X and 4X on these ads because they're winners, they're profitable. And yeah, that would be the best way to do it. And this is not the very, like I would say, technical way, not a lot of data involved, but just the easy part of it to do it at once.
I think many founders, they say like, oh, my ad stopped working. But how many times is it kind of like a creative question? And how many times is it like a setup question that the setups and the settings like on the platform itself is wrong?
Actually, a lot of times the setup is wrong. For example, a business wants to sell and they're running engagement campaigns or traffic campaigns. That's a completely different thing to do. Usually, this is the first and biggest mistake. They come to you, they're so angry, ads are not working, and they're so frustrated. The moment we look, okay, you guys are running traffic campaigns. You are just asking the algorithm to get you window shoppers. These guys don't have a purchase intent. You need to optimize for sales campaigns and choose that type of campaigns. But you guys are running traffic campaigns or engagement campaigns or awareness campaigns. So it's usually this. And then the minority is a creative problem or is something like more deep, I would say.
Yeah. And if founders are listening right now and they have 60 seconds to check their funnel, what would you advise that they look at the first thing?
The first thing in 60 seconds to choose the most close campaign objective to what you actually want. If you want people to buy from you, use a sales campaign. If you want to spread awareness, choose an awareness campaign. If you want to drive people to the website without the purchase intent, choose a traffic campaign. The second thing, make sure your message is very clear. Your creative as well is very clear. Who you are, what you do, what you're selling, and how can this help me? So for instance, my name is Ahmed. I run paid ads for businesses to help them sell online, sell faster, and sell more on social media platforms. If it's not that easy that everyone understands, you are in the wrong place. And the third and most important thing, make sure that the action you want them to take is very clear. So book a call with me, click on the link to learn more or anything of that sort. And the last thing would be the website that you're sending them on. It needs to communicate what you said in the ad, and it needs to show the benefits that they are getting and how they can do it easily. And it needs to break the transformation for them. Because especially for service businesses, sometimes the conversion is very hard. So the conversion is hard because people fear the transformation behind. So this is why it's really nice to break down the transformation, make them see that it's easy, have a good guarantee for them, and easy to convert them on the landing page will just drive you good conversions.
And about landing pages, I think that's really, really interesting. Is this also something that you are busy with? Because of course, I think the funnel kind of like starts or ends there in a way. What is a good landing page nowadays?
A good landing page is a landing page that doesn't have a lot of friction or a lot of distracting elements. It's a landing page that communicates who you are, what you do, how you can help me, what shall I expect, and it calms my fears as a viewer. So let's say I join your academy for like starting my own podcast. I think that having a podcast, I need a big amount of cameras. I need to have like a minimum of 2-3 cameras. I need to have a lot of microphones, but I don't have enough money for that. I also need to have a studio. And I also don't have the technical experience. And I also need to have a lot of tech involved in it, which is an extra cost on me. Okay, I will not be a podcaster. I can go do something else. So if you just break down this fear to people that, no, you can actually do it way easier. So for example, I have all the tech stack involved within, like, let's say my program, you can purchase it with the same price, or like you will get it for free just if you purchase my course. The viewer will start to think that it's very easy. And if everything is involved, if it's a one-stop shop, it makes sense to actually purchase from you than another podcaster who's also selling his course, but it doesn't have this additional service. And one tip I usually give for businesses that try to sell, make sure you include the byproducts that you have. If you would, for example, be buying my media buying courses, I would say, okay, I know that at some point you'd be a media buyer that you want to work with people. So instead of you going and paying some lawyers thousands of dollars to create you a contract, I already paid a lawyer to create me this contract you can use for free. I saved you $1,000 already without you doing anything. So these are the byproducts, the stuff that would complete the full purchase. And you already have them in the drawer of your desk. You can just put it to people for free. It will not cost you anything. It's something you bought once and you can just sell it again and again. And it doesn't cost you anything. Like the contract I have in my drawer that I use every single time I sign a new client. I can just give it to you for free. So that's very easy. People like it more. And it makes them feel like they get way higher value than actually what they pay for and what you're actually selling.
Do ugly landing pages sell better?
What do you mean by ugly landing pages?
I just have the feeling that if I look at really successful course creators that claim they make millions of euros or 100,000 of euros, the landing pages, most of the time, they are very, very, very ugly. Like it's like the normal text, the images all on top of each other, the reviews stacked on top of each other. Like it's not like something that you would expect, because what I would expect is kind of like a nice, clean design, nice landing page where you go, like maybe some moving parts, some UX, UI elements. But most of the time, it's just like this plain landing page, and every like third or second fold is kind of like this big CTA, like buy now. It's like time is running out, 5 things left. And I don't know. So just I'm curious. Like, is this something that you also see, or am I wrong with this? My
I see
assumption?
this a lot of time. Yeah, that's totally correct. And to be honest, I don't like it because psychologically, this adds a lot of cognitive load on the viewer's mind. When the elements are too many in one place, you feel like there are so many choices, and you don't know what to do. So you can have a call to action here, something else there, a testimonial here, this there. It's not structured. That is easy for me to just scan and go through, and this makes the viewers like skinnability harder and harder to also like get the info they want. And for sure, this gives a lot of brain load and effort for them to digest it, which makes the job like, okay, what the fuck am I doing here? And then you start to feel like, if I need to look for some info, or for example, what am I getting from this course? You keep on going, like scrolling up and down. You're so lost on the landing page. Sometimes if it's structured, it's way easy. So why don't we do it this way? And just doing this change can also improve like the conversions of the business from the same amount of audience that go to the website. Just having this easy, it can convert way easier.
And when we talk already a little bit about creatives, because I think we are like in this creative mind, creative state right now. If you talk more about ad creatives, we are now at the end of 2025. It's November now. We're going to 2026. What is something that worked in 2025 that will not work in 2026 anymore, you think?
I would say the AI creatives that are not very strong AI creatives. I see these a lot in ads, and the problem is now with the new updates of Meta and the algorithm, and also the consumers that are on the platforms, they know so well that this is an AI ad. So it needs to be very strong AI ad, otherwise it's not going to work. That's one thing I would say. And the second would be the strength in the creatives. If your creatives are not strong, if they don't communicate very high value, that basically who you are, what you do, and how you can help me as someone interested in your product or service, it's not going to work anymore, because also the amount of advertisers is growing rapidly on the platforms.
Meta also had a new update, Meta Andromeda. Yeah. How you look at kind of like those kind of updates?
I hate it.
Why is it?
Because with every update, you need some time to adapt as an advertiser and to learn about it and to also experiment on the platform. So if you have 3 clients, this update might affect them in different ways. So it's not the same effect on all 3 clients. So you need to test and experiment and then start to adjust your like strategies accordingly. Also, the more advanced the updates go and the more advanced the platform goes, the more we have way stronger selection of the creatives the algorithm wants to prioritize to people. So if both of us are podcasters, we target the same audience with our ads. If your ads are way stronger than mine, the algorithm would put your ads in front of the best people that would actually pay. And my ads would go to a second tier of people that might not be paying, but because your ads are way more powerful, the algorithm would favor this. And this is why also the poor creatives will not be working good anymore, because way back in the days, like let's say 5 years ago or like 6 years ago when I started, if you run a very like terrible creative, it would work. Wow, perfect. 5x return on ad spend, 6x, 8x. But nowadays, no, the competition is way harder. And this is why, especially with the updates, the algorithm is getting stronger. AI is also getting involved in the creative like iteration and direction. So yeah, that would be something very important to consider as well.
And would then, for example, like the creative win over ad spend?
The creative acts as the first interaction between us and the client we try to target. So if it's not good, think that the first interaction between us is really bad. So you'll always think that, okay, Ahmed is bad. So if anyone speaks good about me, my first interaction was really bad. So what you try to do here is to have a very strong creative. And even if you are not spending much, or like even if your competitors are spending more, you would still get very good type of audience because your creative is so good. The algorithm would put it in a good place basically to the people, and it would show it more. And this is why when businesses try to structure their ads, it's very important that you don't think a lot about how much you want to spend, or like, yeah, let's do a shooting with like models or something. No, let's make sure we communicate who we are and what we do and how we can benefit you as a user in a very easy way. And the landing page to convert people is also very easy. And if you just have these 2 elements in place, your life would be way easier as an advertiser on the platform.
We talked a little bit about creatives, right? And you said that AI creatives are not going to work most likely in 2021 when they're not made well. If you look back now in 2025 or even in the current state, I mean, we are just before Black Friday. What are creatives that work very well right now that you've seen?
For Black Friday, especially for that season, I don't know if you'd be publishing the podcast before or after, but yeah, for the Black Friday, it's usually a creative that has the word Black Friday on it, the word sale, and it has the before and after prices to help the person understand how much money are they saving. That's something very important. If you just say Black Friday sale, okay, great, but how much money am I saving? Is it 15% off? Is it 50? Like, is your product 100, now it's 80, or it's 100 and now it's 50? They need to understand this. So it's really good when you have the before and after prices on the creative. Aside of the Black Friday season, it depends on the industry and the niche we're trying to sell for. But I would say if it's, for example, like e-commerce, we try to show how the product is used, how it fits in its environment. So if it's clothing, we try to get, let's say, styling creatives and like to show models wearing it, styling it, hanging out with it. If it's, let's say, baby products, we try to show it in action. The baby's holding the product, playing with it, using it, being engaging with it is also something very important. So we need to show the purpose of the product in action. That's something that is really good when it comes to creatives. And if it's a service, it's nice to communicate the transformation and how easy the transformation and the journey, because everyone has a dream outcome when they buy a certain, especially service. So if you are a barbershop, I need to have a haircut. So I need to show, I need to see that you can do good haircuts for people. If you sell, let's say, a podcast, like you do, if you sell a podcast course, I need to make sure that it's easy for me. It's not very techy. It's basically the podcast for dummies sort of course. If you sell, I don't know, media buying, it needs to also communicate that I will take you from A to Z, or like baby steps to hero steps. And I have ABC that can also help you along the way. So the more transformation easy our creatives are when we are a service business, the easier it is to convert. And when it comes to e-commerce, when we show that the product is used in action and it's good and it fits basically the environment or the purpose it's created for, it sells like really, really good.
It sounds very simple. Like that's something that, like talking to you now for the past half an hour, do you think sometimes founders and business owners and marketing teams overcomplicate their like buying journey, their products, their showcases?
They try to create Hollywood production or like Hollywood production level creatives. And the moment you see it, you're like, yeah, that's an ad. We try to show you something that is very native, because at the end of the day, we are humans. If it's something very polished, it doesn't make sense. You know, this is not real life. But when we say, okay, I know that you are struggling as a podcaster and I'm selling this course, and this course has ABC, which will help you with XYZ. We try to simplify this for you. It makes sense. So the only thing that doesn't make sense is you not buying the course. Everything else makes sense. So the more you simplify things, the more it's easy. But because we know that we have this advertising game that is very brutal, we try to have the Hollywood production. Instead of having an e-commerce business and we just basically put the product in action, we get models and we spend like a lot of money on them and we do this and we do that. Yes, for sure, having good looking models and all of that, it helps to sell the product. But why do we try to overcomplicate things? So the more easy, again, the more it's also easy for people to like to sell. For sure, it needs to be done well. I'm not telling you, yeah, like get like shoot with your phone and make like bad looking reels or like stories to sell for your brand. But it needs to look nice, but it also doesn't need to be a Hollywood production movie. I know people who started e-commerce businesses from scratch. Now they're doing 60 grand a month. And the guys are doing 60 grand a month with creatives that are basically UGC. So they send the product to a model and they're like, hey, for example, would you like put these hoodies or like crew necks and like take some shots for us and send it? She sends it, they edit it, and that's all. But we don't need to get the very well-known faces, you know?
Like no Hollywood production or no expensive models. What would you say, like if you would be in the founder's shoes now, where would you bet like all your money on in terms of like ad creatives? Like would it be video? Would it be like founder-led formats? Would it be storytelling, UGC content? Like what do you think is like one of the things that moves the needles the most?
People love stories and people love to be part of the change. So if you say, for example, that I used to work a 9 to 5 and then I quit my job and then like, let's say I became a media buyer, then I do this and that, and you show this along the way, and now you sell the course, and you also show the transformation that I used to have 0 in my bank and then I did this and then I did that and now I got this, I bought my first house. People love the storytelling. And we humans, we also tend to get emotional with the stories. So we try to resonate with you. So for example, if you said I was a banker and then now I'm doing like podcasts or like I do this or that. So when I see your content, I'm like, oh, I also was a banker. Oh, wow. So I can also do this. So they try to have their emotional aspect also like connect to you as a person, which is great. And this is the way I see a lot of like aspiring businesses in different parts in the world. They try to show this. I quit my job and I want to start an e-commerce brand. I'll start an e-commerce brand in 21 days. Follow me for more. And then I see guys like selling for like 20 grand a day while their like pay was like $2,000 a month. And it's just because of the story. They engaged a lot of people. They got a lot of people to follow them, to like them. And now they're actually selling like crazy. And it's a very well-known brand. And people know that they're buying from you and they know your story as well.
Yeah, I think that storytelling, I think, also becomes more important, like considering all the developments that we have, right, with AI and all this kind of stuff, with things becoming a little bit more fake. I think people also seek maybe a little bit more this kind of like human connection and trying to like also resonate with someone that is actually like a real person, probably. The algorithm updates, Meta Andromeda, is that then kind of like a trust me bro, trust me algorithm era that we are entering now?
Almost, yeah. I don't like the trust me bro sort of phase we have, because it's our role 100% to be taking decisions based on data. And if we give 100% to the algorithm, then the process is fully automated. And this is not something I personally like. Even way before Andromeda, which is like, I think like a year ago, it's there, I think almost for a year. But yeah, just the very famous update that is like brain buzzing a lot of people. Even before that, there was the Advantage Plus or the like this type of campaigns also for Google, the PMax campaigns. They're working for a while and they're almost like fully automated in some sorts. But it's always nice when you test and you know what works for you, because this way you can scale way further. So if you scale 1 or 2x with like these like type of trust me bro campaigns, you can scale way further when you know what you're doing 100%.
Yeah, and also sometimes, I mean, I know it from the AI tools that I'm using, for example, for like the podcast creation or for, I don't know, creating clips or something. I mean, Opus Clip, for example, I mean, everyone knows it, I think, by now. So it's not a secret. And what they do is based on data, right? So they say sometimes like, oh, this is a 99 hook and this is a A++ clip.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the clip and then it's just good because you use maybe Michael Jackson or Stephen Bartlett or something as an example or as a hook, but the whole clip is super boring. But it gives you as like the number one clip. AI selects it and says like, this is the best clip of your podcast, which is totally not true.
Yeah.
Is this also something that you're afraid of, that AI chooses like to push something that is maybe good, but maybe you have like a creative that would be 10x, 60x, 100x better, but AI just doesn't kind of catch up on it?
It actually happens. When we launch campaigns for clients, sometimes we tend to have this, let's go for Advantage Plus. Let's go for the trust me bro type of campaign. And then you see that we are spending crazy on a creative, but 0 conversions. You give it a day, you give it a 2, you do some optimizations and adjustments, but it's still spending like crazy. And now it's the time to cut it because we cannot afford to keep it running for longer. So a lot of times the algorithm takes completely mistaken choices. And this is why I also don't like it, because as I told you in the beginning, we are like portfolio managers. We are the guys having your money in the bank and we invest it for you on the platform to get you 2, 3, 4, 5x, whatever. So when we waste money on a creative like this, I feel bad personally. I feel like, no, I need to make you more money as a business. And yeah, like we couldn't do it because we put the money in the Trust Me Bro campaign.
Yeah. Do you think then that founders should still segment audiences, or is it now just like go broad and keep it open and let AI do their thing?
We can do a mix of this and that. It's always great when you have different types of audience targeting, because this way we are not putting all the eggs in one basket. Going back to the same example, if I am your investment manager can I put all your money in Bitcoin only or in a certain like asset or commodity? I cannot do this. And this is why also if I'm investing your money on the ad machine or the ad platforms, I cannot put all your money in one targeting like section. I need to create different types of creatives, like let's say carousel, static images, videos. I need to also create the videos with different types of like angles. So let's say user-generated content, styling content, let's say influencer also partnerships, employee-generated content. And then we have other ways of doing things. So you need to create different types of prospecting audiences, different types of retargeting audiences, lookalike audiences to target people who would be the best, and to ask the algorithm to create the lookalikes of them. So with all that in place, we are 100% investment managers. We invest the money for the business on the platform to get them the highest return on investment. If you work with me and let's say I get you 2x of your money and someone else will get you 3 or 4x, you will go work with them. So it's very important also to consider this, even if a business owner is like listening to us and they want to start their own ads, never put all your eggs in one basket. You are just decreasing the longevity or the lifetime of your ad accounts.
I really like how you think about that you think like a business owner. And I think that's also why you're so successful is because other business owners realize this and they like that you think of like an investment banker as like, how can I make more money and not how can I spend the creative budget or the budget of a brand and say like, oh, the algorithm didn't pick it up or, oh, the creative was bad or something like this. So I never heard you blaming kind of like the brands or the creative or something like this, but more like, how can I make sure to kind of push the brand? And also I like your involvement into all different kind of facets, right? Like into, hey, we need to fix a landing page, we need to fix the creative, we need to change the setup, we need to try different things. So it's not only like your kind of black box that you say like, oh, this like the Google Ad Manager or the Meta Ad Manager, this is my territory, and everything else outside I'm not touching, and basically you have to delivering. And I think that's maybe also a little bit like the secret formula for your success, that you are really involved into many different facets of the business.
100%. The only problem is that sometimes it's hard for the business owner to trust us, because for them it's like, man, you're telling me to spend more money on ads, but yeah, our budget this month is X. And then I'm like, trust me here, please try to have some faith in me, try to trust me, and let's go further. And after a while, once we have like built this trust, it's like, wow, they are like amazed that, okay, we are actually growing. So for instance, this month, I have a client I'm working with, the overall ad budget is like $100,000 a month. Till this date, till yesterday night I was checking, we spent $95,000. So this month, like it's going to be estimated that we spend around like $180,000 like to $2,000 on ads. And this is something that we already grew by time. But if you, for example, check the new clients I started working with recently, they are not very like easy to like tell them, trust me. And they are like, yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, let's go for it. It's very hard.
Yeah.
The latest story I have was an e-commerce business. She's also from the Netherlands. We started working like 3 months ago, and we were spending X amount of money per month. And then I came like 3 or 4 days ago and I said, listen, I need this from you. We'll be spending more, please. So can you do this for me? She took like 3-4 days thinking about it, talking about it with like her partner. And then she came back to me and she was like, okay, we can do 3x the ad spend. I was like, okay, but I'll need more. We are approaching Black Friday. Your product is good. We can sell more. The first day after we implemented what I wanted exactly, and the creatives having the Black Friday sale, the price before and after and all of that, we had 12.23x return on ad spend. And I can send you the screenshot, like you can put it for people or like somewhere like around here. Just doing things the correct way and trusting, because we are experts in this niche and we see different insights based on data, click-through rates, engagement, return on ad spend, and so on and so forth. And we also know that we are approaching one of the biggest seasons when people actually buy. Right? So if you work with someone that is like good in something, you need to trust them. And this is like always very hard. And yeah, just the first day, we do like literally 12.23x as a return on ad spend, which means for every euro we spend on ads, we get 12 euros in return. Your bank can never do this.
Nice. It's amazing. I also want to make this a little bit more practical for starters, because I think there's maybe people out there that say like, okay, who has 10K or 100K to spend on ads per month? If I'm starting out, I have a course. or like a e-commerce business. I think maybe it doesn't matter so much, but maybe you correct me. And I just created this. I'm just starting out. I don't have a big audience. I have like a normal following, and I want to start ads. What would be kind of like your starting point? Like, what would you advise if you would have, let's say, 1K of ad budget per month?
Okay.
And they are approaching Black Friday and they want to do something with it. What would you do?
I would say let's work on the creatives first, because again, this is the first date you have with someone. Think of it like you just match with like someone on any dating platform. So the first date is the creative that people see you with for the first time as a business. So once we adjust this, the way we can structure the €1,000 or the $1,000 you're talking about is we can have 20, let's say.
Can I interrupt you?
Sure.
Like, for example, let's take my example. I have a podcast course.
Okay.
I want to scale. I tried ads, it didn't work, so might as well work out a strategy now for me. I have a podcast course. I want to sell it for Black Friday. What would be the creatives that you would create?
In your case, when we try to sell the podcast course, what we try to do is say who you are, what you do, and how you can help me, or how you can help me, who you are, and what you do. So if you want to launch your first podcast in X amount of days, my name is Marcus and I can help you with X, Y, and Z. And all this is in my course and you can check it from the link below. So this is the way I would structure it to start with. And then I would spend, let's say, €15 per campaign or per ad set. So I would structure it into like two types of targeting to make the language also easy. I would structure it as 2 types of targeting. So 15 here, 15 there. So that's €30 a day. And then I would test A versus B. So this audience group versus that audience group with a maximum of 2 creatives per ad set. So once we have this, let's say run for a week, we can see that audience group number 1 generated us at least more engagement than audience group number 2. And as a result, we try to see why did it do this. So we can now take this ad, show it to others. Let's say your close friends, you can show this to them and then they can say, yeah, you know what? I think that here, for example, your message is clear, or because the transitions are faster, it hooks people more. So now you're able to get some insights. And for sure, the data also qualifies this, the hook rates and the like 3-second video views and all of that. So once we see this type of data, we are like, okay, now let's make the version that worked a better version. Let's make it stronger. Let's maybe add you some social proof, some testimonials, some case studies. And let's also show in the same format, which is fast transitions and like all of that we did previously, but let's just add one extra element of credibility. And then let's test again. Version A versus, let's say, version A.1. And then we test again until we get you the first person to sign up for the course. And then we will see which ad brought this person, what type of creative and what type of audience. And then we would keep on iterating on this and doubling down and drilling down on this until we crack this. Usually for the businesses that spend a small amount of money, like $1,000 a month, this might sound like €30 a day. It's nothing. So they might feel like, okay, I will not start. But again, if your bank will give you 2-3% a year, and if you just break even, if you put the money and get it back, that is perfect, okay? Yeah. And when you start doing this more frequently, you will start to know what works for you and what doesn't. And then the ads machine will start to make 1.5x, 2x, and so on. And then you will be having the monthly recurring revenue coming from the clients you already have. So let's say I bought your course, but now let's say I need a consultation. You got this consultation at a $0 client acquisition cost. So this will be the first way I would start, and make sure to always have version A versus version B, and then keep on iterating on the winners and keep on improving them. And make sure not to be taking very fast decisions, because this also in the beginning, it disrupts the algorithm. The algorithm takes some time to learn. So make sure if your budget is small to have a minimum of 1 week, so you can also see what performance this ad or this particular audience group drove to my business.
Super interesting, because I think that's what I think, including myself, like a lot of small business owners and people starting out struggle with. They try ads and then they don't really know where to start, testimonial, video, image, then polished Canva template or something like this. But I think those tips were really helpful. I want to talk to you a little bit about hard truth. What is like a hard truth that founders don't want to hear about scaling?
It's painful.
And why is that?
It's painful because when you want to scale, you need to have a lot of resources and stuff correctly. You need to have a lot of good steps in place to make sure we have the best output. And it's painful because it involves a lot of time, it involves a lot of effort and a lot of like financial investment involved. And this is the thing that is very crucial for any business owner. They don't want to spend more. They want to scale as is, but that's not impossible. So if we want to scale more, we need to invest more. And the more you want to spend, the more tests and iterations that need to be done, the more the expenses are happening. But after some time, we always break even and we always get profitable, if not actually from the first or second or third month, if it's a very hard case.
And what do you think is like the bottleneck for most founders?
I would say taking action, really. Especially when it comes to this part of like starting on ads, people usually fear something they don't know. So if I tell you, let's go to this, let's say, place you don't know, you would prefer the place that you went to several times. You know it, you trust the quality there. If I tell you, let's start on ads, you hear it from someone that they started with ads and they failed. Let's say you hear from Marcus that he started ads for his podcast, but yeah, like it didn't work good with him. So it will not work good for me. So taking action here and stopping the assumptions would actually be very beneficial. And once you start doing this, at the end of the day, it's an experiment. If you are a business owner, if you're a founder and you need to grow, the only thing that is stopping you is taking action. If you have the money, basically, yeah, just put it to test. If it works, great. If it doesn't work for me. So it's a one-time investment. If it works, it will have very good like outcomes at the end. But if it doesn't, now we know it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think that in general, ads have for some reason like not the best reputation. I still don't really know why or something. I also like recently talked with a big creator, and he's now just using ads to grow as a creator, like just growing his brand and his following. And he said like, I don't know why I never used it earlier. And he has like a really low setup. I think he spends like $5 or something a day or something like this. But he says like that's just extra impressions and kind of like FaceTime he gets on a platform, right? Like Instagram, and he wants to grow there and he wants to become a big creator. He said like people constantly see me and it gets served to new followers and it gets served to people that don't follow me. And I just get a chance for $5 a day, which is like a coffee for me, to, I don't know, generate 5,000 impressions or something a day, which is like not a lot or something. And it will maybe not sell, but it will maybe kind of like just put people in front of you as well. So I really like that kind of mindset as well. And I still don't really know why so many people are so negative on ads. Maybe because it seems maybe not ethical or something.
I wouldn't say it's not ethical. At the end of the day, we are all businesses and we try to sell our products or services. So the way I would also encourage people to see it is, let's think of ads and selling as dating. If I want to date someone, I need to see them and I need to know them good. And then, like they can be like my partner at some point. And then after that, if we are really good fit, we can like get engaged and then get married. So people usually think that they want to get the marriage straight away from the first date, which is, if you see my ad, you need to buy today. No, it doesn't go like this. I need to get familiar who you are, what you do, how you can help me. Will your product or service be actually a good fit for me and my life, or it will not be? So for all these elements in place, this is why people need to see you a lot. Also, try to see it from that perspective. If, let's say, both of us work from the same co-working space every day, we don't know each other. We just like see each other every day, but we don't know each other. At some point, we'd look in each other's eyes and then I'd be like, good morning. And then you'd be like, yeah, good morning. Hey man, I see you here a lot. What do you do? And then I would tell you what I do. And then I know what you do, and so on and so forth. So the same thing happens with ads. You need to see me different times to be familiar with who I am, what I do, and why I might be a good fit for your business. And then you actually buy the product or the service.
Yeah, I think that's a very, like, it maybe was a little bit hidden, but I think that this tip is actually one of the most important tips from this conversation, that like you need so many touch points and you need to be seen so many times before your person and your customer actually buys. That is really underestimated, because I think many founders and many small business owners, they think like, I put an ad out, they don't buy, then it was bad.
Yeah, and so they also need to see you in very different ways.
Yeah.
One time in an image, let's say a podcast. One time they see you talking about something. One time it's like so many ways, like user-generated content. Like this is why we have so many types of content we use to make sure we actually show the business in so many ways. So now it sounds familiar, and now it's not something strange. And now, I can check it out, and we can actually buy from it.
Yeah. What is one metric that most people obsess with that doesn't matter at all?
Oh my goodness. I can give you a long list of this. But I would say people usually look at the engagement metrics as a bulk, as one bucket. And they sometimes forget the other metrics. So sometimes I have calls with business owners or like founders as well. And they're like, man, I have this issue. I don't know what to do. Nah. And then I'm like, okay, let's go audit your ad account. And then he's telling me, so you see, the click-through rate here is so good. But this is why I leave the ad. On the other hand, the other ad that I closed has a very low click-through rate. And then if you scroll a bit to the right, you would see on his dashboard that this ad made conversions. Yeah, but it has a low click-through rate. Yeah, but who cares? If you're getting paid, who cares if it's very engaging or not? Because again, when we also run the Advantage Plus campaigns and these I trust you bro type of campaigns, like you said it, a lot of times the algorithm just shows the ad that is having very high engagement or very high click-through rate, but people don't buy from it. So why are you keeping something with high engagement metrics if it doesn't convert and you close something that converts? No, keep what converts even though it's low. And even though sometimes the cost per impression might be a bit high or a bit low, sometimes they complain about it as well. Who cares if you convert and you are profitable? This is what matters. At the end of the day, you will have a big bulk of assets in your investment portfolio, aka the ads you run. Each one of them will give you different returns. At the end of the day, are you profitable as the overall portfolio? Yes. Is each and every asset profitable? Yes. Okay. So let's not complicate things. If you are the guy doing your things on your own, let's not complicate it. Just disregard engagement metrics. Let's look at the conversion metrics and also the conversion percentages of, let's say, the product view to add to cart to checkout to purchase. Let's see these metrics and let's see how we can improve this on your landing page more than focusing to make a kick-ass click-through rate that no one ever achieved it, but actually your conversion rates are super low.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think people can learn so much from you. I have one final question.
Sure.
What do you think is one thing that 90% of the brands could fix in 7 days?
They could fix in 7 days. The ease of converting people, always. And the ease of adding stuff to their carts. A lot of times I see, for example, e-commerce businesses, they don't have a very small plugin they can add to their Shopify stores. The moment you add a product to cart, it would show you what other products you can add.
Yeah.
Something as simple as this would just improve your average order value. So to simplify the conversion rates, that would be the first thing, to make it very easy. If someone wants to purchase, they can purchase straight away. And to improve the average order rates, especially if they are in e-com, by adding these plugins of upselling. And just to make it very easy for anyone to convert. If you're in a service business, an e-commerce business, it doesn't need a lot of effort. Just ask your person who goes to the website. It can be a friend of yours or an actual client of yours. Was it easy for you to convert? Yes or no? So the only thing that is remaining when you see my product or service is for you to buy, because everything is so easy. So testimonials, case studies, crystal clear, also copywriting. Who am I, what I do, and how can I help you with my product or service? And then you see from here, you can add this, let's say, product to cart or this service to cart, and then you can check out straight away. Easy peasy, will make your life way easier, and that's all.
Amazing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rapid fire questions for you.
Sure.
Before we leave off. What is one belief about ads that you completely changed your mind on?
So I would say the belief that I didn't think it's that powerful. It's literally a money printing machine if done correctly.
That's amazing. One creative format every founder should test tomorrow?
User-generated content.
Most underrated metric and acquisition?
I wouldn't say that there's something underrated, to be honest.
No, also take. One thing you would delete from every ad account?
Traffic campaigns. I see it as window shoppers coming to your store, but they don't have the intent. So instead of traffic campaigns, run sales campaigns. I know that a lot of people might disagree with me on that. And in some strategies, we use traffic campaigns, but I would delete it because a lot of businesses use it instead of sales and they actually want to sell. They use it as the main source of campaign sometimes.
No, amazing.
Especially starting founders.
And last one, your go-to sentence when founders say our ads stopped working?
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
It's always like that, because I know that there will be some sort of traffic or awareness campaign lying there very straightforward. Just going to sales will get you a higher intent of people, and it will make the job way easier.
Yeah.
And the creatives for sure. So it's always let's have a look at it.
Let's have a look at it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ahmed, thank you so much for coming to the 301 podcast. It was really, really amazing to learn like so much about ads. I think you were exactly the specialist I was hoping to get on to the podcast. We learned so much about how to set up your own ads as a small business founder, what people can do, hitting growth ceilings, how they can change it. It was really, really packed with a lot of insights. So thanks a million for sharing everything so openly, because I think not everyone would also give away their secret sauce, but I think that you're a really open and honest guy. And I hope you will get a lot of business out of that with showcasing how you work and who you are. So that's really awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
And now it's time for you to subscribe to the 301 podcast, that we can bring on more amazing founders like Ahmed. So go like and subscribe to the 301 podcast, and we see each other in another episode of the 301 podcast very soon.